Hey guys, I just thought I'd make a video tonight talking about some experiences I had again at the bar, and it's going to involve IOIs, indicators of interest. Last week I really didn't have very much. Nothing much happened because it was a very quiet night. A lot of people were out of town and for the vacation and everything, so nothing much happened. But this weekend, or at least tonight, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Hopefully I get to go. And tonight was, wow, really eventful for me. I had several instances of girls giving me indicators of interest and AIs, which are approach invitations. And oh, excuse me, sorry about that, I was yawning. I had a comment on one of my videos saying a girl looking at you, is not an approach invitation. Well, it is actually. It's exactly an approach invitation, but it's one of them. But I just want to talk a little bit about them tonight because boy, they were strong tonight. You have some IOIs, like they said, that are kind of, like the flipping of the hair and those kind of things, which I had tonight. And then you have the stronger ones, that, boy, she's really letting you know she likes you. And I had all of those tonight. It started when I went to the restaurant at Buffalo Wild Wings and I got the hot wings. One of the waitresses kept coming by and she was constantly fixing her hair, when kind of the, how they touch it and they smooth it and they do everything. Every time she came by me, she would smile and kind of did that. And that was enjoyable. And happened several times. And then I left there and I went to the bowling alley and I got two women. They were a little bit older, but they were definitely giving me some strong IOIs. They kept looking over at me, and they walked by me, and both of them flipped their hair, and then one of them said something, and they both looked back at me and kind of smiled. And then they really started fixing their hair, and they, of course, went and sat down. Of course, they were bowling. I didn't go over there. And then you had a whole group of women came in there. They were kind of all ages, this group, so I didn't know how to take it, but they were all kind of looking at me, and then they'd look away real quick when I, caught a glance of them. And that was enjoyable. And then I left there and I went downtown, and whenever I go in there, I get IOIs, I get looks and things like that, but nothing really strong when I first went in there. But I did get a few, looks and everything, and then I left and walked around outside for a while. And I went up to one of the other bars. It's the one that I don't go in. I don't want to go in this bar because they have a dress code, and you can't wear shorts, or I don't know about shorts, but you can't wear flip-flops in there. Yeah, I know, they're weird. There's been violence there, I think, or something. I never go in there, but there had been violence there or something, so they have an odd dress code. And of course, I can't wear shoes. You guys know my situation with that, if you've kept up with my benzo videos. But I was just standing around out there, and a girl came outside. She was with her friend, real pretty girls. One of them she was blonde, the one that I'm about to mention. Blonde and kind of taller, about my height, a little taller, so good height for a woman. And she walked by and she saw me and she was, "Hello, sir," and she was being real kind of goofy. She obviously had been drinking, of course. And she was, "Hello, sir," and then she said, "Have you been in here tonight?" And she said, "It's fun," and I was like, "Oh, no, I hadn't been in here." And she said, "We're heading down to the bar that I go to," and she said, "We can't wait to hear the music." She said, "That's why we're going to go down there." And I went, "Okay." And then she said, "What?" She said, what's your name? And she asked what my name was, and I gave her my name, and she told me it was nice to see me, and her friends kind of drug her off, but she was talking to me. Then I go back down to the bar that I was at, and I go inside, and there's a group of girls sitting there. They work at the Buffalo Wild Wings, and I noticed that they said something, and they all turned and looked at me. And then one of them waved at me, kind of did, how you wave at somebody from a distance, and said like, "Hey," and then I waved. And I didn't go over there. I think they wanted me to come over there, and I just didn't go over there. I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed away. And then I walked up to where the bar was near the end of the night, and young girl. I mean, this girl had to be about the tall blonde was also very young, but this young girl that did this was also very young, kind of short, and she was kind of dressed a little provocatively, definitely showing off her body. And she had kind of looked at me a few times, but I didn't really know if she was checking me out. I wasn't sure, so I didn't make much out of that. And then all of a sudden, when I was standing at the bar, where the bartender was, he had done walked away because I wasn't getting any drinks, of course, and he doesn't like me for, I think, the reasons that of women, but she comes over, she walks right where I am. There's a chair empty, right next to where I was. I mean, literally, I could touch the person sitting in the chair. I could put my hand on their shoulder. And she comes and sits right in that chair and turns her back to me and sits right at it. And her beta orbiter, little young guy, her beta orbiter comes, and there's a chair right behind me, where the bar is. There was a chair right in front of me, and then there was a chair right behind me that was, of course, empty. He comes right around right behind me and sits down. A little uncomfortable, but that was her beta orbiter there with her, and she definitely wanted me to say something. I just didn't. I froze, and I finally, I think I walked away. I pretended like I got a phone call, and I just walked away like an idiot. And I remember after the night was over, I walked outside, and there was some girls sitting there, and one of them kept checking me out. I was just standing around, and because it's warm, and she kept checking me. Every time I looked over, she'd look away, and it was yeah, it's frustrating because I know how hard this is going to be for me trying to do this, and boy, I really found it out tonight because I got obvious IOIs. I mean, these were strong IOIs, strong approach invitations, because they did the hover, where they kind of hover around you, and then they came and turned their back. Walking up, getting as close as they can to me, and turning their back. That means they want you to say something to them. And, of course, I stood like an idiot and didn't do anything. And, boy, being autistic, it's so frustrating. Number one, when they come over to me like that in the bar, the music's blaring, and it's kind of a loud, crazy play, and I freeze. I just don't, I'm always scared to touch, and you always think, oh, am I wrong? I know I'm not wrong, but you always think in your head, what if I'm wrong? And I touch her, and she looks at you like you tried to rip her clothes off or something, and it's going to be tough to overcome this, to overcome my autistic problems, to overcome the benzo withdrawal. I had a bad benzo night. Really suffered tonight earlier. That was why I left the bar area. I just was not feeling well, and I said, let me just go out and walk a little bit. It's warm. And the group of girls that signaled me, the one that waved at me, I think I gave the. I feel like the way I act, when I can't help it, it's that I'm autistic. But I try not to act too desperate. Like if a girl waves at me, like, "Oh my gosh, hey," like I'm just flabbergasted. I don't want to act like that. So I try to be a little reserved. And I wonder if I gave them the impression I don't like them. And that's the tough part. That's why I just wish I could get a camera. There's a camera that I found online, but it's on eBay. Amazon, all their cameras, their hidden camera hats are gone. They've gotten rid of them. I'll check again, but the last time I checked, every one of them were not available anymore. But there is one on eBay, and I'm going to try to find a way to maybe order that, because I just want to prove, number one, for me and to you guys, that I'm not making this stuff up, as I talk about this late into the night. But it's just so frustrating. But I think if this is real, and I'm really getting all these IOIs, and I think that I am, I definitely don't think that I'm sexy. I never have. I've never thought that I was sexy. Of course, I'm not now, because I've gained so much weight from the benzos and everything. I mean, that drug has destroyed my life. But I wonder if God is helping me. Maybe He's helping me that I won't be alone. I'm not saying I'm going to meet the woman of my dreams in the bar and club. But maybe God's helping me be a Chad. Maybe a Chad light. That he knows He doesn't want me to be alone. That maybe He gave me those looks so that I'll be able to meet at least somebody, And I don't know, I could be wrong about meeting somebody that I love. Like I said, whether it's at the bar or at a restaurant or at a church or something like that. But I definitely get a lot of IOIs, and this was the strongest I'd had in a while. I mean, these IOIs were strong. Obvious. And I should have took more advantage of them, and I didn't. Like an idiot, but oh well. What do you do? Guess I'm just going to go ahead and lay down here and relax, and we'll see what happens, but I'll keep trying, keep posting, and keep updating you. Take care, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.